Please welcome the one and only Vicki Lawrence. It is so nice to have you.
Is it on?
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry to no.
Did do everything myself. You leave a man in charge, it doesn't get done. Sorry, guys.
So it's so good to have you here. First time in Pittsburgh?
No, God, no.
Glad to hear.
No. I've been here a lot to do my one-woman show.
Oh, that's right.
It's Vicki Lawrence and Mama, a two-woman show, which I thought was a very clever title.
So,
I have been in Pittsburgh to Pittsburgh a number of times, just not to do anything like this. This is. I want to go take a nap with the baby. I'm too old for this shit. Okay.
Just a couple questions, and then hopefully we'll get some questions from the audience. But
okay, great.
But I got to ask, your character, Mama, is that based on any real person that you've known?
Well, I was only 24 when I started doing that, so I would have to say mother-in-laws that I have known. Mothers that I have known. Yeah, my mom called me one night after the show aired, and there was a family sketch on the Burnett show, and she called and she said, "You take that old lady way too seriously." And I thought, oh, God, I guess I'm really hitting a nerve.
That's good.
Yeah, and I had a Southern mother-in-law for a nanosecond. I was married for 10 minutes to a songwriter named Bobby Russell, and literally 10 minutes. And I had a Southern mother-in-law. So, yeah, I would say I got a lot of the, and then basically, that part was written for Carol. Oh. And they had planned on getting a guest star to play Eunice, but Carol said, I want to be Eunice, and I want Vicki to play Mama. The writers were very upset. They were mortified and then she said, I want to do it Southern. Now they were really pissed off. And the first time they saw us do it, they threw down their pads and pencils and stormed out. They said, you've ruined it. You've ruined the sketch.
What was the first sketch like? What was
So I was going to say, I was trying to do like an older version of what Carol was doing. An old version of Eunice.
Nice.
Sort of.
But so as far as like the acting, the singing, you do it both. You do it so well. Do you consider yourself an actor that sings or a singer that acts?
Oh, I do a little singing. I don't think.
Oh, come on, hit.
I don't want to bore the crap out of people, so I only sing a couple songs in my show.
Uh-huh.
But if you've had a juggernaut like The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia,
boom,
boom, you have to sing it. You have to sing that thing, right?
How did that song come about?
Well, the guy that I was married to for 10 minutes. That was like the only good thing that came out of the whole dang marriage was that he wrote this song that he hated. And I said, it's a smash. And he said, well, then you do the demo, which I did. He took it out. We took it to Hollywood to his producer who said, this is pretty good. He tried to give it to everybody. He was going to call Liza Minnelli. I said, Liza Minnelli is not right for this song. And he called Cher because he was Cher's producer. Cher never heard the song. Sonny heard it. He said, this song sucks. It'll offend the entire southern half of the country. So anyway, finally, his producer just threw up his hands, literally, and said, let's just go in the studio and do it with Vicki. So that's how it happened.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Before we get to questions, I've just...
And by the way, it was the ultimate demise of an already doomed marriage. So there you have it.
There you go.
So I got a gold record, and I got the dog. And I outlived the son of a bitch.
And that's all the time we have for
okay.
And one quick question before we get to the audience question. Just something I just like to know. What was your first meeting with Carol Burnett like?
My first meeting? I wrote her a fan letter and told her that I looked like her because everybody said I looked like her. My mom said, write a fan letter. So I was busy writing to all the young guys that were on TV at the time. I was a fangirl, like you guys are. And I would write to all the young guys that were on TV back in the day, like Paul Peterson and who else was I in love with? Who's the guy on the Rifleman? The darling
Connors?
little...
Chuck Connors?
No, the darling little guy.
Johnny
Crawford. Yes. Bobby Sherman. Who else did I?
David
Who's
Cassidy?
else? Who?
David Cassidy? Eh.
He was. No, he was a little later. I mean,
Oh.
I'm old, so the young, you don't even remember. Fabian,
Oh, okay.
Bobby Rydell. Yeah. Anyway, so I was busy writing to all the guys, and my mom said, will you just write to Carol? So I wrote her. She got the letter. I was going to be in a contest in Inglewood, California, where I grew up, called Miss Fireball. So I sent her a picture from the contest and said, everybody says I look like you. I hope to get to meet you someday. She took my dad's name out of the article. She called me on the phone, said, I want to come see you in this contest. So that was our first meeting, was she actually showed up at this Miss Fireball contest and crowned me when I won. Wow. And said, I'm gonna call you in a couple of weeks and we'll have lunch and discuss your career, sweetie. And I thought, okay, well, she's out of her mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was my first meeting.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Would you mind getting some questions from the audience?
No, I'd love to.
All right. If you got a question, raise your hand. We'll come right around. We'll start with you down there. And once again, thank you for coming out and doing this. I
told this guy earlier that my husband, who was my real husband that I've been married to for 48 flipping years, was actually the last person to make up Elvis Presley for his very last television show. He got the call 2 weeks before I was going to have our son. I was very pregnant, and he said, I'm going to go do Elvis Presley's makeup for his special. And I said, well, but I'm pregnant. I can't go. He said, who said anything about you? If the baby starts to come, cross your legs. I'm going to do the king. Yeah.
All right. That's hard to intro. Let's see what you got.
My favorite episode is when Aunt Fran dies in the bathroom of the Bigger Jigger, and I was wondering why you guys wrote her out. Did she just not want to come back and do guest appearances anymore, or?
Well, Mama's Family was first on NBC for a season and a half, and they kept moving our time slot around. It got worse every 6 months. It got worse. We were opposite Magnum PI with Tom Selleck, and they said, oh, well, they're doing too well there, so they moved us opposite the Love Boat. They just kept putting us in horrible time slots till they felt like they had the ammunition to cancel us. And I think what the deal was that the young guys at the network just really didn't understand a young woman playing an old woman, and they did not understand rural comedy, which are some of the best comedies in the world. But they didn't get it. So we got canceled and sat for like a year and a half before we went into syndication, first-run syndication. And it was during that year and a half that I lost both Betty and Rue to the Golden Girls. I remember Betty saying to me, I ran into her on, I can't remember what show we were doing. I think it was a game show or something. She said, I just did a pilot, and I really think this could be the one. And that was the Golden Girls. Wow. And so I lost both those girls to they went away to do that crappy show, The Golden Girls. Yeah.
So we have a question on that side of the room.
So you played Hannah and Miley's Mama on Hannah Montana, and I was just wondering, what was your favorite part about working on the set of Hannah Montana? Like, was there any drama? That I'm kind of nebby. I want to know if there's also any drama. And also, what was your favorite part about working on the show?
There wasn't really any drama. Miley pretty much ran the set. She was always telling her dad what to do. Dad, stop it. Get over here. She was, very smart, very precocious. And the producers, when I went to work on it, they said, we're trying to hire really good actors to be around her because she's a sponge and she will get it all. So if you have any advice for Miley, please pass it on. And so one of the first things I taught her, we were doing a scene in the kitchen, and we were having trouble getting everything coordinated. And I taught her one of the first things that Harvey Korman ever taught me, which is make your props your friends. And so if the bottle goes here, you remember that line, and then you stand up and you remember that line, and it just kind of makes the choreography a lot easier. So I said, Miley, we just got to get this coordinated and choreographed, which we did, and the scene came out great. Flash forward 4 years, and I'm on one of the very last episodes of Hannah Montana, and Mama and Miley are going to a very fancy tea room to have high tea. And so we're all dressed up, and, they used to just block and shoot. Like you would rehearse the scene, and then they would shoot it. So we walk in, they roll tape, we're going in to do it, and the first thing we do is sit down at this lovely little table, the tea table, and everything. The table's all set and everything. And I put my purse on the table, and I said, "You guys cut. I'm sorry, stop, because I know that purse is going to be in the way." And I looked at Miley and I said, "What did you do with your purse, sweetie?" She said, "I put it on the back of my chair, Vicki. Make your props your friends."
Wow.
Full circle. We came full circle together. And after that show, everybody was calling me going, "What's going to happen to Miley? She's lost her shit." Because, she kind of got a little wild there, twerking and doing all that. I said, "Miley's going to be fine. She just didn't want to be a Disney kid forever." So she has let us know that she is not. But damn it, she's talented. So I'm not really worried about Miley.
We're going to stay on that side of the room. I think we have a question
that's-
on, right there. I think that young gentleman had a question. Am I not mistaken? He raised his hand.
What's your favorite Christmas movie you watch every year?
Oh, gosh. My
That's out of it.
favorite Christmas movie every year. I would have to say, well, we do watch Christmas Vacation almost every year. But of late, I think my favorite Christmas movie is The Holiday. I love that movie. I don't know. What can I tell you? We watched Love Actually the other night, and that is actually a lovely movie.
Question right down front.
And Scrooge, of course.
Okay.
Because we live next door to a Scrooge, so I always watch Scrooge. Mm-hmm.
Was it fun working with Ken Berry? There were so many great Mama event moments.
Ken Berry, I think of as my right arm. He's just there for you. He's like dancing with a great partner. He's just always there and always funny and so underrated. And I would have so many fans come up to me during the Mama's Family run and say, "Ken Berry's really good." And I would say, "Oh, man, you guys should have seen him when he danced on the Carol Burnett show." He was just, and I think of like Derek Huff nowadays, and Kenny just kind of missed that window where he could have been just ginormous because he was so, so talented. Yeah.
So working with Ken Berry and Tim Conway, how did that contrast comedy-wise for you? They're two different, completely animals.
Well, yeah, Ken is always there for you. Tim is, God knows where Tim is. Tim just lived to wreak havoc. He lived to upset everybody. It was... And I didn't even know this until after the Burnett show. He was dyslexic. So he had trouble reading the scripts and deciphering the whole thing. So that's why he wrote a lot of his own stuff. He wrote all of those Mrs. Wiggins sketches. He wrote a lot of the stuff that he and Harvey did together. He wrote a lot, the dentist sketch. He wrote a lot of that stuff because it was probably easier for him than learning a script. But he was just a devil. And we used to do 2 shows on the Burnett show. It was like a live show. We had an audience that was roughly the size of this room, probably about 250 people. And if the first show went really well, the director would give Tim the okay to do whatever he wanted on the next show. So you never knew what was going to happen. And we used to have cue cards back in the day, like, I don't remember, Carol was black, Harvey was green, Tim was red, I was blue. And if you looked out in the audience and saw a red cue card that said "Savor," that meant here comes the joke that nobody has heard before that is going to save the whole sketch. And you would just fasten your seatbelt and go, "Okay, here we go." At one point, he had so many Savor cards that he wallpapered his office in them. He walked in and it just said "Savor" everywhere.
But I got to congratulate you for the ultimate one-upmanship when he was doing the elephant story.
Yeah, I didn't.
The ultimate.
I didn't do a lot of that cracking up like everybody else did because honestly, I didn't really feel that I had earned the right to play in the sandbox with the grown-ups. I was still learning. So in many of the first years of the Burnett Show, you didn't see me cracking up at all. I just didn't feel it was my privilege. But when Mama came along, I got a little braver. And the night that we did that particular sketch, when Tim got written into the family sketches, Carol pulled us all aside and she said, "You guys, you know how much I love these characters. You know how serious I am about these sketches. I do not want us breaking the fourth wall. We are going to keep our composure, keep it together, and I'm serious." So, and we did, most of the time we did pretty well, but that particular sketch came along, and you know what happened. Carol fell apart. She just fell. And here's this grown woman. She's in my lap, and she's looking up at me, and she's got tears, and I'm just like, what the hell? Get a grip. Get a grip, for Christ's sake. And I'm keeping my composure because I've been told by my boss to keep my composure. Anyway, we get through the dress rehearsal show, which we used to do 2 shows. They were called Dress and Air, but that's only because Carol grew up in New York doing live television, and there was a dress and there was an air show because they went live. So they do a dress rehearsal and then they do the air show. That's the way our schedule was set up. So on the Burnett Show, you'd do the dress rehearsal at 4:15. You'd be done like at 6 o'clock. We'd have like an hour and some odd minutes to get your makeup touched up, to get dinner if you're hungry. And during that time, you would get notes from the director about the next show. And it could be anything like, we're changing your mark in the finale. We're changing this line. We're changing the running order. It could be anything. So he came by my dressing room that night. He knocks on the door. Dave Powers, our director. He says, "I have only one note tonight. The elephant story will be different, and good luck." So by now, this is like, I don't know what, that was like I think that was the last season of the Burnett Show, the 11th season, and I'm now married to Al. My husband, Al Schultz, was the makeup man on the show. So he's sitting in my dressing room when the director came by, and after the director left, I said, "How the hell does he get away with it?" And Al looked at me, he said, "Get him." So I think maybe it was Al that unleashed that monster that night, and I got him. I got him, yeah.
Okay, and we have a question right back here. Let's head back there. Come on out. Right, here you go.
So great to have you with us, Vicki. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
So my one question for you is, out of all the moments you look back on in both your life and career, which moments are you the most proud of?
Well, I guess every mother says her children, right? Most of the time I'm proud of them. Sometimes you want to sell them, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my family, I guess, is the most important. It's a boring answer, right? What do you really want to know? What would you really like me to say? What is the most? What was the question? What is the most?
Here, I'll have you repeat it since it was your question.
The most?
Okay, so the question was, out of all the moments in both your life and career, which moments are you the most proud of?
The kids.
Okay. We have a question right down here.
Hi, Vicki. I did love the sitcom, The Cool Kids.
Oh, thanks.
It was so
did
funny. And I was just wondering if you could share any memories you had of Leslie Jordan on set.
Oh,
or what was your favorite?
Leslie. You know, I became a fan of Leslie's when he did Boston Legal, and he had a storyline with Betty White in there. That's where I found him. But the character that he played was never intended to be gay. I was the first person cast on The Cool Kids, and I read with many guys for that part. And yet, when we showed up on the set to do the pilot, I went, "Wow, really?" They went short and they went gay. Okay. And but how fun to be working with Leslie. And he was everything that I think everybody fell so in love with during the pandemic. He was just funny. He had the best old stories. He had the most incredible stories about his former life. when he did drugs, I mean, he'd be telling us stories about when he was in jail with Robert Downey Jr. And really? Oh, and I woke up in the lumber yard in West Hollywood. And Leslie. Anyway, he had this incredible second life, and he was just so happy when this happened to him. He'd finally bought his dream condo, and he never got to move in. And I still can't believe he's not going to be on the other end of the phone when I call. It's just still hard to believe. He was just adorable. He's just as adorable as everybody thinks he was. He's the reason I drink sweet tea to this day. I have some sweet tea. He had a big old jug of it on the set. Mom, get me some sweet tea. I need to be cutting down on the sugar because I need to go on a diet. He's always on a diet. And the wardrobe gal would always say, oh, honey, let's just get a bigger size slacks. I loved him. I miss him. I miss that whole cast. It was such a Martin Mull, what a doll baby, and David Alan Grier, just so fun. I just felt so fortunate. I was really sorry. But I think we got caught in that right when we were due for a pickup is right when Disney bought Fox, and I think we just got lost in the shuffle. Yeah, I do too. It was fun.
We have a question on the far side of the room.
Hi. I was wondering if Carol Burnett hadn't interceded in your life at that moment and show business wasn't on the table, what would you have done?
Oh, I was just there was a dentist here this morning getting a picture, and she wanted me to pose with her toothbrush. And I said, she said, I'm a dentist. I said, I thought I wanted to be a dental hygienist. I don't know why. I kind of have a tooth fetish. I don't know what that was about. And then I figured you could wear a uniform to work every day and you wouldn't have to stress over what to wear. And then you could spend all your money buying cute stuff for the weekend. I don't know what I had a crush on my dentist when I was growing up because he was so handsome. I don't know what I thought. Dental hygienist.
Okay.
I would have been a funny one, hopefully.
Mike, if you went ahead to the way back far part of the room, looks like we got 2 questions there. We got time for about 2 or 3 more. Then you got to prep for your photo op, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I do. I've never done such a thing. I have never dressed up as Mama and interacted with fans ever. I got roped into it for this show. I said, maybe that would be fun. I've never done it. I've told a number of people, I don't think anybody has a picture off. I don't think anybody off a set has maybe a random stagehand that caught me right before I was going on as Mama in my show, but it's not something I've ever done.
Thank you for doing it.
We'll see how it goes. I have a feeling she's going to be really angry.
Okay, we're ready.
We're ready in the back.
What is your fondest memory of being on Hannah Montana?
Oh, I think I shared it with you. I loved being around Miley and, Dolly Parton. I remember the week that I was on that they said Dolly's going to be there this week, and I went, oh, my God. What do I wear to the table read? Because she's going to look great. I might need to get a manicure. She's going to look adorable. Well, when you meet Dolly, have any of you met her in person? When you meet her in person, don't you just want to go stand there? I just want to look. Just stand there because I just want to see all of it. She's just amazing, and she is the sweetest thing you will ever meet in your life. She's the nicest person, and she's just absolutely perfect head to toe. I just I went, why did I think I was going to get my nails done? What the hell? Her nails are like 2 inches long, and she plays the flippin' guitar with them. I don't know how she does it. She's just adorable.
Another question in the back, and then right in front of you. There you go. Let's get those 2, or is that one person with 2 hands? No, it's 2 questions.
One person with 2 hands, hopefully. Yeah.
We'll be in the air at the same time.
Thank you. Hi, Vicki.
Hi.
So we already established that Carl died in the bathroom on the Carol Burnett show, okay? I always wondered,
Whatever happened between Eunice and Ed? Did he leave her for a cocktail waitress or something like that? And then,
I don't remember.
And then
Is
Dick
that
Van
what
Dyke came on the show. It was just one episode, I think.
Gosh, I don't remember. Dick was on the whole last season of the Burnett
Yes.
show, the whole 11th season, and I had a dressing room right next to Dick Van Dyke, and I was like, oh my God, because I just loved that show when I was a kid. I don't remember what happened to Eunice and Ed. But you're probably right. He left her for. How do we know that?
Oh, wait, she needs a microphone. Is your mic okay?
It was on one of the episodes I had seen. Dick Van Dyke came by the house to see her, or to see Ed. He was a friend of Ed's.
Okay.
And he was off with a cocktail waitress or something. And maybe it was just, I don't know.
Okay. You know, I've often said to Carol, because there have been many reconfigurations of the Burnett show, like I just signed a box set this morning, the Lost episodes, and there's, like all the seasons have been released, and all the Carol's favorites, I think, has been released. And I said, Carol, all I ever hear is, could you release all the family sketches as a set? But I guess there's writing issues, and there's all kinds of reasons where that's really difficult. But I mean, that would be a great box set, all the family sketches, because they were so good. It was so beautifully written.
Let's get one more question, then she's got to get made up to do her photo ops. Let's head right down front for the last question. And thank you again for doing this with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
I just wanted to know, did you enjoy working with Buzz and Sonia more than Bubba? Or did you have a favorite?
Oh, well, you know, I think what happened, Buzz and Sonia were adorable. They were. But I think the network, when we were on the network, really felt like they needed that teenage element in the show. And I'm not sure the producers or the writers ever really embraced that. So when we were canceled and then we went into first run syndication, it was really left up to us, and that's when we recast. And I mean, I just feel like Beverly Archer was just an incredible addition to the show. And Alan, I picked when he auditioned because I said he has red hair and he's adorable. So shouldn't he be here? I recast him because I thought he was so cute. So I guess I probably enjoyed the syndicated. I think that's when we really hit our stride, was in first run syndication, and could have gone on forever and ever because that show ran like a little Energizer bunny. But they got to enough episodes where they could syndicate, and then that's when they said we don't really need to do anymore. But we had it down to a 4-day work week by the end, and boy, we were just having way too much fun.
Well, I wish you luck with your photo op.
Thank you.
Releasing Mama on the Comic-Con crowd. Give it up.
you.
Vicki Lawrence, you don't want to miss her photo op. You could do better than that. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.